All right, YouTube, welcome back to the channel. And guess what? We have something incredible happening with another illustration rare right now. And it looks like this could potentially be the next Magikarp. And we're getting in on it early. Well, as early as we can, because this just seemed to explode out of nowhere. And we are, of course, talking about the Drowzee illustration rare, which has been making some incredible moves. But before we get into a bit of a comparison, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support lately. We have gained a ton of new subscribers. I am currently working on a Discord server for the channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll be coming very soon. But if you're brand new and you love everything Pokemon, whether it's collecting, investing, news updates, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because that is all coming here on the channel very, very soon. And when we hit 3,000 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway for you guys. So all you have to do is like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and when we hit 3,000 subscribers, I will be announcing a giveaway for one of you guys in the comments. Now, talking about Drowzee, let's jump over to TCG Player, which is where I get pretty much all of my information. This is going to show all of the recent sales. It's also going to show things like how much growth these cards have had, and I'm going to do a bit of a comparison between Drowzee and Magikarp here. Now, starting off with the Drowzee, this is going to blow your mind because it blew mine. The card was $5 when it first released. So when Scarlet Violet base set came out, the Drowzee was not a desired card. It was an illustration rare and everyone went, oh, cool, it's Drowzee. Yep, whatever. Gen 1 Pokemon, $5, $6 max, right? So, and that stayed that way for pretty much the first 6 months of the set being out, and then started to rise up to about $8 to $10 after that. The thing that people didn't realize is this artwork, this card is illustrated by a certain artist. And I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm going to give it a crack. Tomokazu Komiya? I probably butchered that, but he's known for this specific type of artwork, this sort of abstract, really strange. It reminds me of like the Starry Night artwork, if you know what that is. It's an actual art piece. I'm pretty sure it's called Starry Night. It kind of reminds me of that, and it's got this really like abstract color palette. And Drowzee just looks really cool in this photo. And like I said, it is a Gen 1 Pokemon, so a lot of people can resonate with it. But the crazy thing is that in the last few months, this card has just skyrocketed. So take this, for example, at December 22nd, so that the end of December, basically, you could buy this card for $13.80. After that, in January, so within a month of that price, the card grew to be a $34 card at around the middle of January. It then dipped off a little bit, and now in February, it has taken an absolute run that nobody could have expected and is now sitting at $81.37 as market price, which is a 1,609% increase, which is insane. Now, that's not the only insane thing about this Drowzee card, because when we start to look at cards being graded, these prices start to jump, and Scarlet Violet base was notorious for having bad centering, bad print lines. The production of these cards were just not really well done. So it made grading them in a PSA 10 extremely difficult. And what we're going to see here when we jump over to eBay is that the prices do reflect that. Now, keep in mind, this is a $90 card. $90 card. Let's just say 80 right now because market price is 81. I know it's going to get higher. It's going to keep going up, but let's just say $81, which is market price right now. PSA 10. Look at the recent sold listings. These are sold. People have bought these at this price. PSA 10, 750 USD, 680 USD with 36 bids, 715 USD with 43 bids, 650, 607, 650. So it looks like the further we go back, because these were obviously back in sort of early to mid-Feb, these 650s, but because it's had another price jump recently, we're starting to see it crack the $700 mark with these PSA 10s. This one, it's not graded, so I don't know why it's actually in here, but ignore that one. So again, now we're looking in sort of Feb 17th was this sale at 750. The 16th was this sale. So like the second half of February, it seems to have spiked above the $700 mark. And when we go back to Drowzee and we look at, you know, the sold listings lately, let's filter this and go near mint and then view sales. So if you look at the recent sales on the Drowzee, I can see it just going up, to be honest. Like $86, this one sold for 78, this one sold for 80, 85, 82, 83, 84, 86, 88. So all around the $80+ mark. And with these ones, when you look at like the lowest listed from a star seller that's not Japanese, we're looking here, $81. So again, there are multiple listings at $81 when they do sell out eventually, which they probably will when a card makes moves like this. You can just gradually see it going up. So there's probably about 20 cards here that need to sell before it hits the $90 mark. But I really think it will. And if we compare it to the Magikarp, which is what I'm kind of going based off, I guess just the past with all of the right components, right? You've got an illustrator or an artist that is really well renowned in the Pokemon space. You've got a Gen 1 Pokemon that a lot of people can resonate with. You have a cool artwork, and you combine that with the fact that the printing quality of Scarlet Violet base wasn't very good. When you can grade these cards in a PSA 10, they are going to skyrocket. And that's what we saw with the Magikarp as well. The Magikarp, and I'll say this, it was more expensive from the get-go. Like this was a $69 card a year ago. And it kind of just crept its way up. And then September, it just took off because people were starting to realize the pricing, you know, in a PSA 10 for this card was super high because the population count of PSA 10s was really low. And it was actually hard to get because Paldea Evolved had the exact same problems that Scarlet Violet base had with the print quality. So this card had Shinji Kanda, who I'm sure a lot of you are very, very aware of. If you look at artists in Pokemon, do the artwork for this card, which I think it's an incredible looking card, but it did skyrocket up to $250 in the last couple of months. So basically 275% increase. But even though it's a $250 market price card, when you look at the PSA 10s on eBay, $1,300, $1,500. I don't know. That's a Japanese one, so I'm going to ignore that. $1,500, $1,500, $1,500, $1,500. So just consistent, like $1,350, $1,600, $1,350, $1,550. Like between $1,500 and $1,600, other than, you know, the person here that got lucky on a snipe bid by the looks of it. It's one of those things where this card shows what illustration rares can do, and especially when they're coupled with those printing issues. Drowzee right now, and again, we go back, it's only an $80 card currently, but look at this line. Look at the rate that this has gone up in the last month or so. And I really think this is going to continue because the amount of people that probably have this Drowzee, but it's super off-centered, or there's print lines through it, or the quality is really bad, the corners have whitening, things like that are going to reflect, and you're not going to be able to grade it in a PSA 10. So I don't have the specific numbers for a PSA 10 in front of me in the Drowzee, but I did see another video from Phillips Collectibles. Shout out to Phil. 20% of the Drowzees that get submitted to PSA score in a 10, 20% or less. So you've got a 1 in 5 chance that your card is actually going to get graded in a PSA 10, which is bonkers. But that's the power of these illustration rares, and that's the reason we see things like the Magikarp blowing up. Even the Groudon kind of blew up, but that wasn't so much affected by the printing quality issues. You see things, I do videos every week. Stuff from Paldea Evolved and Scarlet Violet base always seem to be those illustration rares that spike the most when they're graded in a PSA 10 because they were notorious for the bad print quality. You know, you look at something like a Paldean Wooper, which is like a $10 card, and in a PSA 10 goes for $450. That's from Paldea Evolved. So that shows the power of grading these cards and scoring a 10 and what they can do. And if Drowzee in a raw price is skyrocketing like this, these PSA 10 prices are going to go through the roof. Right now, the raw price is a third of what the Magikarp is. The PSA 10 price is half of what the Magikarp is. So even if the Drowzee doubled in price from here and went to say $160, it could potentially match the graded price of the Magikarp, which is bonkers to think about because I didn't think we'd get multiple illustration rares making crazy moves like this. But with that said, that's going to be all for today's video. I just wanted to update you guys on this ridiculous price growth in this card because some of you might have a couple of these sitting in your binder. You may have no interest in grading them. You may just want to make some extra cash to add some other stuff to your collection. So if you've got a couple of these or even one of these and you don't really like the card yourself, there's a good chance to be able to sell it and get something else for your collection that you actually do want. But with that said, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in for another one. I will see you guys in the next video, and I will catch you guys next time.